Welcome out to Herman Brothers Field here in Palmer, Alaska. About to start this contest between the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks and the Matsu Miners. First, we coming up to the plate for the Chinooks. Same people we've seen at the top of the lineup just about all season long. Will Bass, Mason Mallard, Hunter Vansaw. First three do up for the Chinooks. On the hill for the Matsu Miners, Stephen Kolek, the righty out of Texas A&M, first start of this summer. First pitch to Bass. He'll be swinging and missing for strike one. First pitch time of 7:05 here in Palmer. Here's the 0-1. Bass will foul that one back, makes it an 0-2 count. Stephen Kolek for the Miners just finished his freshman year at Texas A&M. Played 43 innings, went 3-0, had an under 3 ERA. Pitch out that time for ball one, 1-2 to Bass. Kolek had 12 appearances, had 3 starts for the Aggies. 21 strikeouts to 13 walks. The 1-2. Outside ball 2-2 to Bass. Bass hitting .250 so far this summer. Here's the 2-2. Outside ball 3. Gotta make it a full count. 3-2 to Will Bass. Bass places the ball at Waylon Baptist. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Bass goes down on strikes to start off this one. One down top of the first. Mason Mallard now coming up to the plate. Here's the first pitch to Mallard. I'll catch the outside corner. Called strike one. Here's the 0-1. They'll just foul that one off a bit for strike two. Mallard quickly falling behind 0-2 just as Bass did. Here's the 0-2. Breaking pitch got him looking. And that was just downright filthy from Kolek for out number 2 here in the top of the first.
Now batting, right fielder number 22, Hunter Vansaw.
2 down top of the first. Hunter Vansaw coming up to the plate for your Chinooks. Vansaw continues to lead the team in average, hitting .351. First pitch to him will miss for ball 1. Now we see an SEC matchup at the plate with Kolek from A&M, Vansaw going to Mississippi State. The 1-0 will be found down the line. One count to Hunter Vansaw. Here's the 1-1. Up and outside, ball 2. 2-1 count to Vansaw. Here's the 2-1. That one's lined into left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. So Vansaw will get the 2-out single here in the top of the first.
Now batting, the DH number 24, Tim Millard.
To Millard coming up to the plate, 2 down top of the first. Chinooks are looking to strike first against the Matsu Miners. Here's the first pitch to Millard. In there, called strike one on the outside part of the plate. Millard hitting .302 so far this summer. Now the 0-1. He'll take a hack at that one That'll get away from Cosgrove behind the dish, allows Vansaw to advance to second. So it's an 0-2 count to Tim Millard, the redshirt sophomore from Dallas Baptist. Here's the 0-2. Hit back up the middle. It'll be fielded by Levi Jordan. He'll get that over to first in time for out number 3. So Vansaw gets on with a 2-out single, but he'll be stranded at second after advancing on the passed ball. Chinooks unable to strike first against the Miners. We head to the bottom of the first here in Palmer in just a little bit. Welcome back out to Herman Brothers Field here at the site of the Alaska State Fairgrounds. On the hill for your Shinooks today, getting his first start of the summer, will be Cody White, the senior from Davidson. So far in the summer, White 4 appearances out of the pen. He has a 2-0 record. 9 1/3 innings pitched, 5 walks to 6 strikeouts with an under 2 ERA. Brooks Stoller will be first pitch bunting. White will bobble it. That'll allow Stoller to be safe at first. I would think they call that an infield single, but we will wait to see their ruling.
Now batting second baseman, number 1, Levi Jordan.
Now coming up for the Miners, Levi Jordan. After Jordan, it'll be Jake Scudder, their first baseman. White will check on Stoller over at first to be back in time. First pitch to Levi Jordan. In there, called strike 1. On the base pass, Stoller does have a steal, but has been caught stealing 3 times. White checks on him again. He'll be back in time. Defensively for the Chinooks, starting in the outfield, Mason Mallard in left, Greg Populus in center with Hunter Vansaw in right. The 0-1. That'll just miss for ball 1. 1-1 to Levi Jordan. In the infield, Colin Borst over there at third, Aaron Shackelford at shortstop. Will Bass at second. Ethan Whisker at first with Ben Hill behind the dish once again. Here's the 1-1. Out of miss down and in for ball 2. Levi Jordan leads the minors in hitting. For their everyday players, at least, he's hitting 400 already this summer. Started off strong, has continued to stay strong. The 2-1 will miss inside for ball 3. Levi Jordan, a 5'8" sophomore from Washington. Here's a 3-1. Fouls that one back, makes it a full count, 3-2. Full count, 3-2 to Levi Jordan. And that one will be fouled back. Stotler was on the move that time. Jordan has 2 doubles to go with 5 RBIs on the summer. As White checks on Stotler over at first once again. Count remains 3-2 to Levi Jordan, the Miners' second baseman. And again, Cody White will check on Brooks Stotler. He'll be back in time. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Stotler on the move. And they strike him out, throw him out. 2 outs now, bottom of the first after some great defensive plays, especially by Ben Hill behind the dish to make a perfect throw after the strikeout of Levi Jordan.
Now batting, your first baseman, number 22, Jake Scudder.
Jake Scudder now coming to the plate, 2 down. Bottom of the first, still no score on the board between the Chinooks and the Miners. Jake Scudder at the plate. He's really been a thorn in the side of the Chinooks as both of his home runs have came against the Chinooks. First pitch to him in there, called strike 1. Scudder, a 6-foot junior from Kansas State. Here's the 0-1. Out of miss just inside for ball 1. Here's the 1-1. Out of miss down low and inside, ball 2. Scudder hitting .267 with those 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. Also has 3 doubles. The 2-1. Out of miss down and inside once again, 3-1 to Scudder. Scudder originally from Rock Island, Illinois. The 3-1. Out of miss inside, ball 4. His first walk of the day from Cody White will put Jake Scudder on with 2 down.
Now batting, your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
That'll bring right fielder Garrison Schwartz up to the plate for the Miners. 2 down, bottom of the first. First one to Schwartz. Low and inside, ball 1. Schwartz, 6'1", sophomore from Grand Canyon. The 1-0. Hit on the ground towards second. Bass will field it. Gets it over to Ethan Whisker at first in time for out number 3. So Stotler gets on with the base hit from the bunt. but then he's doubled up trying to steal second once Levi Jordan struck out. So after one here in Palmer, still zeros on the board between the Chinooks and the Mat-Su Miners. Welcome back on out here to Palmer, Alaska. Starting off the top of the second. Nathan Whisker tried to check his swing, but he'll foul that one back. Here's a nice pitch to Whisker. In there, called strike. Nice pitch to Whisker. Down into the turf. One and two count to Ethan Whisker, the first baseman for the Chinooks. After Whisker, it'll be Aaron Shackelford and Colin Borst coming to the plate. The 1-2. Whisker will just barely foul that one off to stay alive at 1-2. Whisker grounds that one to third, but they will say that one went foul. Almost deflected off of Whisker. Whisker comes into today's game hitting 172. Here's the 1-2. Outside ball 2. 2-2 count to Whisker. Whisker plays at Hillsdale College. The 2-2 will miss down in the dirt. That'll make it a full count. 3-2 to Whisker. Here's the 3-2. Grounds that one on the ground towards third. AJ Lee throw is off the mark, but Jake Scudder able to tag out Whisker for out number 1.
Now batting, shortstop number 8, Aaron Shackelford.
One down top of the second, 0-0 between the Chinooks and the Miners. Aaron Shackelford coming up to the plate. First pitch to Shackelford. Catches the outside corner, called strike 1. The 0-1 is going to be fouled back and out of play, so Shackelford falls behind 0-2. Now the 0-2. Fouls that one back to stay alive at 0-2. Shackelford hitting .222 on the summer. The 0-2. Tried to check his swing. Somehow fouls that one off. Not sure how he was even able to do that. Oh, 0-2 count to Shackelford. Here's the 0-2. Waste pitch that time from Kolek. 1-2 now. Shackelford originally from San Diego, California. Here comes the 1-2. Again, that'll be fouled off to stay alive at 1-2. Now the 1-2. Unless down and inside. 2-2 now to Shackelford. I'm not sure how much basketball Shackelford played growing up, but definitely does have a nice little jumper that we got to see earlier today at the Alaska Club. The 2-2 is going to be grounded down the third base line. Again, it'll go foul. Shackelford not missing these by much. Just to find a way to put that ball into fair play. Now the 2-2. Breaking pitch, that'll miss outside. That'll make it a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Shackelford. Shack plays at the Masters College. The 3-2. Again, Shackelford will foul that one back. The 3-2. Hit right back up the middle. So long at bat pays off for Shackelford as that'll ground into center field for a base hit. So Shackelford on with 1 down, top of the second. Colin Borst making his way up to the plate for the Chinooks. First pitch to Borst. Just outside, ball 1. Borst getting the start at third base today for your Chinooks. The 1-0. Thinks about it, but holds up at that inside pitch, makes it 2-0. We'll check out Shackelford over at first. He'll be back in time. Shackelford does not have a stolen base so far this summer. The 2-0 will be grounded back foul. The 2-1. Swing and a miss there from Borst, leaving it back up 2-2. Borst hitting .258 on the summer. Pretty big improvement on how he was hitting at Hillsdale. The 2-2. Fouls that one off right side out of play. Two ball, two strike count to Borst. The 2-2. That'll miss upstairs. They'll try and pick up Shackelford. They'll be just safe over there first. That'll make it a full count. 3-2 to Borst. They'll check on Shackelford at first. He'll be back in time. Monchak doesn't have any steals here in Alaska. Was 7 for 8 in his stolen base attempts back at Masters. Here's the 3-2. Got him looking, called strike 3. Tough one there on Borst. Not a pitch he could do much with. That'll be out number 2.
Now batting, the catcher, number 30, Ben Hill.
Ben Hill now up to the plate, 2 down, top of the second. Chinooks 0, Miners 0. We'll check on Shaq back at first to be back in time. Ben Hill on the summer hitting 161. Has the 3 RBIs and 3 walks. First one to Hill. He'll pop that one up right side. That's in foul ground. That'll fall harmlessly foul as Andy Cosgrove nor Jake Scudder were able to get to that one in time. Ben Hill, 6'1" junior from Olivet Nazarene University. Here's the 0-1. Then they're called to strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. So Hill falls behind 0-2. The 0-2. That'll bounce in the dirt. Shackelford will try to advance, but he will be gunned down at second. So I'll do it here for the top of the second. And after the top of the second, score remains 0, Miners 0. We head into the bottom of the second. And welcome back out to Palmer, Alaska, as the Chinooks are taking on the Matsu Miners. We're starting off the bottom of the second. First pitch to Josh Roulette in there, called strike one. Roulette, the Miners DH after him. It'll be Josh Bisonet and Scooter Bynum. The 0-1. That'll catch that outside corner again as Roulette falls behind 0-2. Cody White starting off his second inning of work in his first start this summer. The 0-2. Swing and a miss from Roulette. That'll be the first out here in the bottom of the second. Second strikeout today for Cody White.
Now batting your shortstop number 6, Josh Bissonette.
Josh Bisonet up to the plate with one down, bottom of the second. First one to Bisonet. Inside, ball one. The 1-0. That'll be outside, almost in the dirt, but not quite. 2-0. Bisonet hitting .245 with 4 doubles, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. The 2-0 miss up and in. 3-0. Now the 3-0. Right down the pipe for a called strike one. The 3-1. That'll bounce in the dirt. He'll have to run back since that's ball 4, making sure Bisonet doesn't get an extra base. He will not. He'll stay at first. Bisonet draws the walk with 1 down.
Number 9, Scooter Bynum.
Brings up Scooter Bynum. First pitch to Scooter Bynum. In there, called strike one. Bisonet on the base pass. No stolen bases yet, but has been caught once. Here's the 0-1. That one's hit left side. That'll get out of play. So Bynum finds himself down on the count 0-2. He's hitting .222 this summer with 1 double and 1 triple. The 0-2. That'll miss low for ball 1. The 1-2 to Bynum. Hit on the ground towards second, but that'll take a bad hop and go right over the glove of Bass. He'll quickly grab it, keep Bisonet at second. So it could have been at least a 1 out, turns into a single for Bynum after taking a bad hop in the short part of the outfield as that one just got past the dirt. So now runners at first and second. 1 down for Andy Cosgrove.
Catcher number 21, Andy Cosgrove.
Cosgrove, 6'2", sophomore from Santa Barbara Community College. This is the first time I've seen him this summer. This is only his second game with the Miners. First one to him will miss inside, ball 1. Cosgrove's first game was yesterday against the Bucks. Game he went 0 for 3. And the Miners needed another catcher after Troy Squires had to go home after getting hurt. So they were with only one catcher for a while. The 1-0. That one's popped way up and foul ground. But Ben Hill will run out of room. So that'll leave it back up 1-1. Andy Cosgrove. Cosgrove originally from Kirkland, Washington. So didn't have to come too far to be here in Alaska. The 1-1. That's hit on the ground. Shackelford will field it. Backhands it to second for one. But Cosgrove will be safe at first. Shackelford went behind his back to make that play at second. There wasn't enough time to have the double play.
Now batting your third baseman, number 5.
So now runners at the corners, 2 down, bottom of the second. Zeros on the board between the Chinooks and the Miners. First one to Lee. And that throw will go into the outfield on the first and third play. And that'll allow the Miners to take a 1-0 lead on an errant throw from Ben Hill. So the Miners with the 1-0 lead. But it's an 0-1 count to A.J. Lee. And Lee now calls for time. Now the 0-1. That's hit back with the middle. White unable to field it. Bass will field it. Gets that over to Whisker first in time for out number 3. But that's not before an error will allow the Miners to take a 1-0 lead after 2 here in Palmer. And welcome back out to Herman Brothers Field here in the sites of the Alaska State Fairgrounds. About to start the top of the third inning between your Chinooks and the Matsu Miners. Miners have a 1-0 lead. Ben Hill back up to the plate for the Chinooks. First one of him will miss for ball one. Hill was up at the end of the top of the second, but Aaron Shackford was caught stealing for the final out. But now it's a 2-0 count to Ben Hill. After Ben Hill, it'll be Greg Populus and back to the top of the order for Will Bass. Here's the 2-0. That one's hit on the ground. That'll be fielded by Kolek. He'll underhand that one over to Scudder for out number one.
Now batting, center fielder number 10, Greg Populus.
Greg Populus now up to the plate with one down, top of the third. Chinooks trailing the Miners 1-0. First pitch to Greg Populus. That'll catch the inside corner, called strike one. Populus plays at New Mexico State University. That one's hit right back up the middle, somehow fielded by Jordan, but nowhere near in time. That'll be a single from Greg Populus. And I got to have a nice little chat with Greg before the game. And he talked about how he wanted to get a nice little hit because he said he didn't feel like he was really out of that slump. We'll see if that single truly gets him out of that slump. And now Will Bass is up to the plate. They'll check on Populus, and he'll be back in time at first. So Will Bass up to the plate second time today. He struck out his first time up. They'll check on Populus, and again, he'll be back in time. And Greg does have 2 steals, was caught once this summer. That time he was caught stealing, though, was back in the first time of the game. Hit and run on that time, but Bass unable to get that one fair down that third base line. So Populus will have to go back to first. So it's an 0-1 count to Bass. One down top of the third. They check on Populus, and he'll be back in time. And while at New Mexico State, Greg had 18 steals in 19 attempts. That one's hit back to Kolek on the mound. They get it over to short for one. And Bass is out at first. So the 1-6-3 double play will end things here in the top of the third. And after the top of the third, Chinooks unable to do anything. They remain trailing the Matsu Miners by a score of 1-0. And welcome back here on the Chinooks Radio Network. About to start the bottom of the third between the Chinooks and the Miners. Back to the top of the order for the Matthew Miners. Brooks Stotler, Levi Jordan, Jake Scudder due up. Cody White starting his third inning of work in his first start. First pitch to Stotler. Again, will lay down the bunt. This time White will field it. Underhands at the whisker in time, out number one. So that went much better for Chinooks than the first time Stotler was able to bunt, because the first time he was able to bunt his way on with a single. One down, bottom of the third. Miners up 1-0 on the Chinooks. Levi Jordan up to the plate for the second time today. And Jordan went down swinging his first time up. First one to him. Will miss low for ball one. Now the 1-0. That one's hit out towards center field. But Greg Populus unable to easily track that one down for out number two.
Now batting your first baseman, number 22, Jake Scudder.
Jake Scudder up to the plate, 2 down, bottom of the third. Scudder drew a walk his first time up. First pitch to him. That one's laced out towards center field. But again, Greg Populus able to reel that one in for the final out of the inning. And that's just a 4-pitch inning for Cody White. Not going to see that too often. And after 3 here in Palmer, the Miners on top of your Chinooks by a score of 1-0.
Off a fourth for the Chinooks left fielder, number 5, Mason Millard.
Welcome back out here to Palmer. About to start the top of the fourth inning between the Chinooks and the Miners. First pitch to Mason Mallard will miss it inside, ball one. After Mason Mallard, it'll be Hunter Vansaw and Tim Millard. The 1-0. Swing and a miss will even it up at 1-1. We thank you for joining us here on the Chinook Radio Network. Chinooks trail by a score of 1-0. I'm Lance Morris here, bringing you the play-by-play action from Herman Brothers Field. The 1-1 was down in the dirt. 2-1 now to Mallard. The 2-1. Misses inside, makes it 3-1. Mallard struck out looking his first time up. Here's a 3-1. And that one's popped up right side. But Garrison Schwartz will come in from right field to bring that one in for out number one.
Now batting right fielder number 22, Hunter Vansall.
One down, top of the fourth. Chinooks trail 1-0 to the Matsu Miners. Hunter Vansall up to the plate for the second time today. First one to Vansall. This is going outside, ball one. Vansall had a single his first time up. The 1-0. Upstairs, ball two. Here's the 1-0. That one's in there for a call to strike one. Actually, it's a 2-1 count, excuse me. Here's the 2-1. That one's hit on the ground left side. A.J. Lee will field it, but he will lose the handle, so Vansall will be safe at first. And they will rule that one an error on A.J. Lee. Nonetheless, Vansall is on for the second time today. That'll bring Tim Millard up to the plate.
DH number 24, Tim Millard.
Millard grounded out to second his first time up. First one to him. Inside, ball one. We do see some action in the Miners bullpen. Next one to Millard. In there, called strike one. 1-1 count to Millard. And you have to think with Cole like this being his first start of the summer, and he just came down from finishing his season at A&M, they probably want to keep his pitch count low, at least to start off. The 1-1. That one's hit hard toward short. Bissonette will field it, flips over to second for one, and back over to first in time for the 6-4-3 double play. And that'll be the second time today we've seen the Chinooks hit into a double play, second time in a row, actually, as well. So after the top half of the fourth, Chinooks again unable to put any runs on the board. They still trail the Miners by a score of 1-0. And welcome back on out to Herman Brothers Field here in Palmer, Alaska. About to start the bottom of the fourth inning between your Chugach Eagle River Chinooks and the Matsu Miners. 4, 5, 6ers coming up for the Miners. Garrison Schwartz first up. First one to him will miss up a little high for ball one. Cody White in his fourth inning as the starter today. The one I was going to miss low makes it 2-0. Schwartz grounded out to second his first time up. He'll hit that one out left side. That'll land right in front of the Chinooks bullpen. Here's the 2-1. Upstairs, ball three. 3-run count to Schwartz, the sophomore from Grand Canyon. 3-1. That one's hit left side. Mason Mallard running over. They'll pull that one in for out number 1.
Now batting your DH, number 25, Josh Roulette.
Josh Roulette coming up to the plate with 1 down, bottom of the 4th. Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 1-0. Roulette struck out swinging his first time up. First one to him in there called strike 1. Roulette hitting 147 with 1 double and 1 home run. The 0-1. That's hit left side. That'll get out of play. So for the second straight at bat, Roulette finds himself down 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Bottom is down in the dirt, ball 1. Here's the 1-2. That one's laced right back up the middle. That'll be a base hit from Roulette. So he'll get on with 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th. That'll bring up Josh Bissonette.
Now batting your shortstop, number 6, Josh Bissonette.
Josh Bissonette now comes up 1 down. Bottom of the 4th, Chinooks trail the Miners 1-0. First one to Bissonette. Outside and low, ball 1. Bissonette drew a walk back in the 2nd and came around to score. The only run so far of today's game. 1-0. That'll miss down in the dirt, 2-0. And Roulette does not have any steals so far this summer. He's over there at first. The 2-0. Hit on the ground towards third. Boerst will field it. Gets it over to Bass for 1. And back over to Whisker in time to complete the 5-4-3 double play. And this game just chock full of double plays so far. And after 4, the Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 1-0. We'll be right back here in Palmer. Welcome back on out. We're about to start the top of the 5th inning here on the Chinooks Radio Network. Ethan Whisker, Aaron Shackelford, Colin Borst due up.
First baseman number 25, Ethan Whisker.
Ethan Whisker up to the plate now. First pitch to him. Inside, ball one. Here's the 1-0. That'll miss low ball two. 2-0 to Whisker. And now there's a new pitcher on the hill for the Miners. It'll be Tyler Wyatt. Probably one of the last guys the Chinooks wanted to see on the mound. The 2-0. That one's poked out nicely towards left field. Scooter Bynum going back, and that'll be a solo home run. Ethan Whisker. And how about breaking out of your own slump, Whisker? That's his second home run of the year. Makes it a 1-1 ball game. We're all tied up here in Palmer.
Now batting shortstop number 8, Aaron Shackelford.
So we're all tied up now here in Palmer, 1-1 between the Chinooks and the Miners. First pitch to Shackelford in there, called strike one. And the last time the Chinooks saw Tyler Wyatt on the mound was in his last start, where he went 7 strong, had a no-hitter through 6. The 1-0 in there, called strike two to Shackelford. It's an 0-2 count. Next one to Shack. Outside for the ball. 1-2 count to Shackelford. And Shackelford will get a piece of that one. That'll drop into left field for a base hit of his own. So Shackelford now 2 for 2 on the day.
Now batting third baseman number 9, Colin Borst.
And the Chinooks are already doing about as well against Tyler Wyatt as they did when they faced him back on June 15th. In that game, he gave up just 1 run on 4 hits. Chinooks already with 2 in their first 2 hitters against Wyatt. That first pitch to Colin Borst will miss a low ball 1. Borst struck out looking his first time up. They'll be swinging and missing that 1-0 pitch, leaving it back up at 1-1. One and one count to Borst, the third baseman from Hillsdale College. Another big swing and a miss. He'll fall behind 1-2. Borst originally from Sylvania, Ohio. Not too far from where I grew up. The 1-2. Somehow holds up on that one. They'll appeal, say he did not go around. Count leaving back up 2 balls, 2 strikes to Borst. The 2-2. Borst will poke that one out right field. But that'll drop harmlessly foul. Lots of foul ground here at Herman Brothers Field. So a lot of ground to cover for those fielders makes it hard to bring in every foul ball that happens. Two and two count to Colin Borst. Here's the 2-2. He'll poke that one up. That'll get out of play as well. Borst came into today's game hitting .258. All of those hits have been singles. The 2-2. Just gets a piece of that one. Stays live at 2-2. Count remains 2-2 to Colin Borst. And Borst will call time as Wyatt took a little while on the mound. Hasn't moved a muscle. Now he does. The 2-2. Swing and a missed. Borst will go down on strikes. That'll be out number one here in the top of the fifth.
Now batting, catch number 30, Ben Hill.
One down, top of the fifth. 1-1 your score between the Chinooks and the Miners. Ben Hill up to the plate. First one to Hill will miss for ball one. Ben Hill grounded out back to the pitcher his last time up as they check on Shackelford over first to be back in time. Hill will foul that one back, evens it up at 1-1. Hill came into today's game batting 161. The 1-1. That one's laced out towards left field. That'll drop in front of Scooter Bynum for a base hit. So that'll put runners at first and second for Greg Populison.
Now batting, center fielder number 10, Greg Populison.
One down for Greg Populison. Runners at first and second. Populison had a single his first time up. Here's the first pitch to him. Hits that one right back up the middle. That'll be another base hit from Populison. But they will wisely keep Shackelford at third. So another hit from Populous, and he's also 2 for 2 on the day. That'll load up the bases for Will Bass. And I mentioned how last time out, Tyler Wyatt did very well against the Chinooks in his 7 innings of work, allowed 1 on 4 hits. He's done the same thing to the first 5 hitters he's faced in this inning. What a turnaround for your Chinooks. Now, so they'll bring out a meeting from their pitching coach, Matt Greeley. They don't have anyone warming up in the pen, so this is just to settle down Wyatt, I would think.
Now batting, second baseman number 6, Will Bass.
So Will Bass has the bases loaded, 1 down, top of the 5th. Chinooks and the Miners tied at 1-1. Bass will take that first one down the right field line, but it goes foul. Bass 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and grounded into a double play. The 0-1. That'll miss inside. That'll get away from the catcher. That allows Shackelford to come in and score easily. Chinooks take a 2-1 lead over the Miners. 1-1 count to Will Bass. Here's the 1-1. That'll miss inside ball 2. Time is called. That's will ground that one toward the Bison net. He'll hold the runners and throw over to first in time for the out.
Now batting, left fielder number 5, Mason Mallard.
2 down, top of the 5th. Mason Mallard coming up to the plate for the Chinooks. Shinooks have a 2-1 lead. They have runners at second and third. Ben Hill at third, Greg Populison at second. First one outside to Mallard. Here's the 1-0. That'll miss low for ball 2. Mallard 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and a flyout. The 2-0. He thought about that one, but holds up, and that'll be ball 3. 3-0 now to Mason Mallard. Here's a 3-0. He'll let that one go by him for a called strike 1. Now the 3-1. And he'll foul that one back, and they'll make it a full count, 3-2.
Mahalo to the beer shack, please.
Mallard played at Tyler Junior College this past season. He'll be going to Louisiana Tech starting in the fall. 3-2. That one's on the ground towards short. Bisonet will field it. Gets it over to Jake Scudder at first in time. Out number 3. So the Miners work their way out of this inning, but that's not before Ethan Whisker puts a solo shot out to left center. Shackelford, Hill, and Populous would all get on with singles, and Shackelford comes around to score. And it's 2-1. Chinooks on top after the top half of the 5th here in Palmer. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 5th. And welcome back on out here to Herman Brothers Field. Chinooks now have a 2-1 lead over the Matsu Miners. It'll be the bottom of their order coming to the plate here in the bottom of the fifth. Scooter Bynum, Andy Cosgrove, and A.J. Lee. His first pitch to Bynum. That one's hit softly on the ground towards Shackelford. He'll field it. But that'll just pull Ethan Whisker off the bag long enough for Bynum to be safe over there at first.
Now batting your catcher, number 21, Andy Cosgrove.
And they'll rule that one a single for Bynum. And they'll check on Bynum over first to be back in time. Cosgrove tries to lay down the bunt, but that'll go foul. They'll check on Bynum again at first to be back in time. Bynum does have a couple steals on the summer. The 0-1 Cosgrove lays down the bunt, but the Chinooks didn't have their fielding aligned. So rule that one. That one's an error? Not really sure what they're doing on that one.
Now batting your third baseman, number 5, A.J. Lee.
A.J. Lee now to the plate with two guys on. He tries to show bunt, but that'll miss inside for ball one. The 1-0. That'll bounce up, gets away from Hill briefly. And that'll allow both the runners to advance. So it's a 2-0 count to A.J. Lee. The 2-0. And that one's scorched out to left field. That'll be a base hit. Bynum easily comes around to score, and so does Cosgrove. So that'll be a 2 RBI double for A.J. Lee. Puts the Miners back in front, 3-2.
Now batting your center fielder, number 24, Brooks Statler.
And now the Chinooks will have someone get up and going in the bullpen. So this is not the Chinooks inning the Chinooks had in mind after the top half of the fifth. They go out and give those 2 runs right back. Now back to the top of the order for Brooks Stotler for the Miners. First one to him He tries to lay down the bunt, but that will go foul. Stoller 1 for 2 on the day. The 0-1. Outside ball 1. And we've seen Stoller try and bunt his way on a board every single time he's been up to the plate. One time he was successful, one time he was not. The 1-1. Shows the bunt, pulls it back, that's ball 2. Two and 1 count to Stoller. Here's a 2-1. Lays down the bunt down the third base line. Borstel wisely let that one go foul. Stoller, the freshman from Long Beach State. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Stoller will go down on strikes. Much needed out for the Chinooks. You're in the bottom of the 5th.
Now batting, your second baseman, number 1, Levi Jordan.
Levi Jordan now to the plate with 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Miners just retook the lead. They lead 3-2. First one to Levi Jordan. He'll hit that one out towards center field. Populous and going back. He'll pull that one in for out number 2. That does allow AJ Lee to advance from second to third.
Now batting, your first baseman, number 22, Jake Scudder.
2 down, bottom of the 5th. Chinooks show the Miners 3-2. Jake Scudder up to the plate for the Miners. Now it looks like they're going to appeal on if he tagged up. They will say he did. And Coach Groth is out there saying, I don't think he tagged up, but it doesn't look like Brad Polk, the third base umpire, will change his call. So now Jake Scudder up to the plate. First pitch to him. And that's laced into right field. That'll be a base hit. RBI single from Scudder will put the Miners up 4-2.
Now batting your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
Garrison Schwartz coming up to the plate for the Miners. Miners now with a 4-2 lead over the Chinooks. First one to Schwartz. Misses low, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That one's hit nicely out towards center field. Populous and going back. And no camp under that one for out number 3. But that's not before a 2 RBI double from AJ Lee and an RBI single from Jake Scudder put the Miners back in front after 5. They now lead by a score of 4-2. First pitch to Hunter Vansaw,
42,
in there for strike one. After Vansaw, to be Tim Millard and Ethan Whisker, the 0-1. On a miss low for ball one. The 1-1. Outside ball two. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Chinooks trailing the Miners by a score of 4-2. We're in the top of the sixth. The 2-1. Swing and a miss from Vansaw. I'll leave it to back up 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Vansaw will go down on strikes. That'll be the second strikeout today for Tyler Wyatt. That's out number 1 in the top of the sixth.
Now batting with the H number 24, Tim Millard.
Tim Millard now up to the plate with 1 down, top of the sixth. First pitch to him. Outside and low for ball 1. The 1-0. Inside ball 2. Millard 0 for 2 on the day with a ground out to second and a ground out for a double play. The 2-0. In there called strike 1. 2-1 now to Millard. Millard, a redshirt sophomore from Dallas Baptist University. The 2-1. That one's also in there for a called strike 2. Evens back up 2-2. A 2-2 count to Tim Millard. Here's the 2-2. He fouls that one back, stays alive at 2-2. Millard came into today's game hitting .302. 1 double, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Millard goes down on strikes. That'll be out number 2 here in the top of the sixth.
Now batting, first baseman number 25, Ethan Whisker.
Ethan Whisker coming back up to the plate with 2 down, top of the sixth inning. First one to Whisker. On a miss inside, ball 1. Whisker 1 for 2 on the day. Grounded out in the second, had a solo home run his last time up back in the fifth. The 1-0 was lined out towards center field. Brooks Stotler will get to that one in time for the final out of the top of the sixth. So Shinooks go down in order in the top of the sixth. They still trail the Miners by a score of 4-2.
Leading off the minors in the sixth, your DH number 25, Josh Roulette.
Welcome back on out to Herman Brothers Field. Starting off the bottom half of the sixth inning, Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 4-2. First pitch to Josh Roulette, misses low, ball one. Cody White still in the hill for your Chinooks in his sixth inning of work now. The 1-0. That'll miss down and in, ball two. Still do see some action in the Chinook bullpen. The 2-0. And they're called strike one. Due up for the Miners after Roulette, it'll be Josh Bissonette and Scooter Bynum. The 2-1. Hit on the ground towards first. Whisker will field it. Flips it over to Cody White. Over first, covering in time for out number one.
Now batting, your shortstop number 6, Josh Bissonette.
One down, bottom of the sixth. Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 4-2. Josh Bissonette up to the plate. First pitch to him. And they're called strike one. Bissonette 0 for 1 today. He drew a walk and is grounded into a double play. That one's hit nicely down the left field line. That'll be a fair ball. Bissonette's going to round first, head for second. And that's where he will stay. It'll be a stand-up double with one down here in the bottom of the sixth.
Your left fielder number 9, Scooter Bynum.
Scooter Bynum now up to the plate with one down here in the bottom of the sixth. Chinooks trail 4-2, and now pitching coach Chris Beck going to go have a word with Cody White. We'll see if this is it for him.
Hey, well, we've got a moment here, folks. The winner of the drone has not
And that will be it for Cody White. So we will take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have a new pitcher on the hill for your Chinooks, trailing on the Matsu Miners by a score of 4-2 in the bottom of the sixth. And welcome back on out here. The Matsu Miners and the Chugach Eagle River Chinooks facing off. We're in the bottom of the sixth inning. New pitcher on the hill for your Chinooks. It'll be Robert Winslow. Comes in relief of Cody White. First pitch to Scooter Bynum will be in there, called strike one. Winslow on the summer. This will be his 7th appearance. His 6th out of the bullpen, made a start last week. Here's the 0-1. Gets the outside corner as well, called strike two. Here's the 0-2. That'll miss for ball one. Winslow an 0-1 record in 14 1/3 innings pitched. 13 strikeouts and 14 walks, but has an ERA that's 1.26. Here's the 1-2. Outside ball two. Evens it back up 2-2 to Scooter Bynum. Bynum, an Alaskan native. He's from Fairbanks, Alaska. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Bynum will go down on strikes. That'll be the first strikeout today for Robert Winslow.
Now batting, your catcher number 21, Andy Cosgrove.
Two down here in the bottom of the 6th. Chinooks trailing the Miners by a score of 4-2. Andy Cosgrove, the Miners catcher, now up to the plate. First pitch to him. That'll be ball one. This is Cosgrove's 2nd game with the Miners. He comes from Santa Barbara Community College. The 1-0. That one scorched down the left field line, but that'll go foul. Cosgrove, a native of Kirkland, Washington. The 1-1. Outside ball two. Two and one count to Cosgrove. Here's a 2-1. Inside ball three. Three and one count to Cosgrove with two down, bottom of the 6th. The 3-1. And on the ground towards third. Boris makes the diving stop, and he'll get that over to Ethan Lisker first in time for out number 3. So the Miners threaten, but Bisonet will be stranded. And after 6 full innings here in Palmer, the Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 4-2. And welcome back out to Herman Brothers Field.
Shortstop number 8, Aaron Shackelford.
Starting off at the top of the 7th. First one, Aaron Shackelford, outside ball 1. The pitcher on the hill for the Miners, Mick Vorhoff, the sophomore from Grand Canyon. The one that was going to miss a low ball 2. After Shackelford, it'll be Colin Borst and Ben Hill due up. The 2-0. And they're called strike 1. Vorhoff on the summer. This is his 3rd appearance. He has 6 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts to go with 1 walk. Shackelford a foul. That one back out of play. That'll leave it up 2-2. Vorhoff with an even 3 ERA. Here's the 2-2. Shackelford will chop that one into fair grounds, but looks like it went hit off of him somewhere. That'll go foul. So it'll take a second to recover. And then probably got Shackelford in a place you probably don't want to get hit too often, based on the amount of time the Miners and home plate umpire Tim Davis are taking, making sure he's okay. But he steps back into the box. It's a 2-2 count. He'll foul that one back again. Count remains 2-2. Shackelford 2 for 2 on the day. The 2-2. It's that one right side. That'll go foul. Here's the 2-2. Thought about it. Did not go around, says the third base umpire Brad Polk. That'll make it a full count. 3-2. Here's the 3-2. They'll foul that one back as well. We'll do it again at 3-2. The 3-2. Him on the ground, right back to Vorhoff. He'll underhand that one to Jake Scudder for out number 1.
Now batting third baseman number
One
9.
down top of the 7th, Colin Borst up to the plate. Borst looking to make his day at the plate a little brighter. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far. First one to Borst. Curveball in there called strike 1. The 0-1. Outside and low. 1-1 now. Borst, a 6'2 sophomore, plays at Hillsdale College in Hillsdale, Michigan. The 1-1. Thought about that one. But actually going to say he foul tipped that. Didn't hear any part of the bat hit the ball, but I'll call that strike 2. I think Coach John Gross saying the same thing down there at third base in the coaching box. But nonetheless, it's a 1-2 count. The 1-2. Outside ball 2. There is some action going on in the Miners bullpen. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a missed. Borst goes down on strikes for the third straight time. That'll be out number 2 here in the top of the 7th.
Now batting, the catcher number 30, Ben Hill.
Ben Hill now up to the plate with 2 down. Here in the top of the 7th, Chinooks trail by a score of 4-2. First one to Hill. That'll miss low and outside, ball 1. The 1-0. That one's poked out right side. Schwartz ranging over to that foul ground, and he'll get to it for the final out of the inning. So the second straight time, the Chinooks go down 1-2-3, and after the top of the 7th, they still trail by a score of 4-2 to the Mat-Su Miners. And welcome back here to the Chinooks Radio Network. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning between the Miners and the Chinooks. Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 4-2. 9-1-2 hitters do it for the Miners. A.J. Lee, Brooks Stotler, and Levi Jordan. A.J. Lee will try to bump it. That'll go foul. Robert Winslow still on the hill for the Chinooks. The 0-1 to Lee in there, called strike 2. And Lee had a 2 RBI double his last time up. He also came around to score. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Hill will drop it. And he'll throw it to first in time to complete the strikeout. So that'll be the second strikeout today for Winslow. That's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 7th.
Now batting, your center fielder number 24, Brooks Stotler.
Back to the top of the order for the Miners. Brooks Stotler up to the plate. He's tried bunting all 3 times he's been up previously. Doesn't show a bunt this time. That'll miss low, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That'll miss for ball 2. That one didn't miss by too much. Here's the 2-0. That one's hit out in the center field. That'll drop in for a base hit. So Stotler's on with his second hit of the day. That'll come with one down here in the bottom of the seventh.
Now batting your second baseman, number 1, Levi Jordan.
Levi Jordan now coming up to the plate for the Miners with one down, bottom of the seventh. Miners up 4-2 on your Chinooks. Jordan 0 for 3 today. First one of him in there called strike one. Jordan 0 for 3 with a strikeout and a pair of flyouts. Came into today's game hitting 400. Winslow will check on Stotler at first. He'll be back in time. Stotler with a little bit of speed on the base pass. Does have one steal, but also has been caught 3 times. Winslow checks on him again. He'll be back in time. And no one up and moving in the Chinooks bullpen, so this would lead me to believe that Winslow has at least this inning to work. And the 0-1 foul tipped by Levi Jordan. That'll make it 0-2. Oh, 0-2 count to Levi Jordan. The 0-2. Up and outside, ball 1. Here's the 1-2. Adam is down in the dirt. Nice stop from Hill. That'll make it 2 balls, 2 strikes to Levi Jordan, the sophomore from the University of Washington. The 2-2. That one's poked out towards the right field. Vansaw able to grab that for the out. And they will have enough time to double up Brooks Stotler, who was out a little too far. And that'll do it for the bottom of the 7th. And after 7 full innings here in Palmer, Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 4-2. Greg Populus at the plate for your Chinooks. First pitch to him in there, called strike one. We're starting off the top of the 8th inning. Chinooks trail the Miners by a score of 4-2. We thank you for making this broadcast a part of your day. You're listening live with the Chinooks Radio Network, or maybe you're listening to this in hindsight, as this game will be recorded on YouTube in full afterwards. The 0-1. Populus will get a piece of that one, but that'll go foul. After Greg, it'll be back to the top of the order for Will Bass and Mason Mallard. New pitcher on the hill for the Miners, Gage Berland, the sophomore from Gonzaga. 1-2 count to Populus. The 0-2. And that's it right back up the middle. Have yourself a day, Greg Populus. You're now 3 for 3 with 3 singles. And I told you earlier you were going to break out of that slump if you didn't already, but now I think you'll officially consider that slump broken. So now we're in the top of the 8th still. Will Bass up to the plate with nobody down. We'll check on Greg over first to be back in time. Will Bass having a rare off day at the plate. He's 0 for 3 so far. First one to him. Populus on the move, but they were ready for it with the pitch out. But he'll still slide in there safely. That'll also get away from the middle infielders and allows him to get to third. So I think that would just be a steal, then an error. But nonetheless, Populus now at third with nobody down. The 1-0. And they're called strike one to Bass. Here's the 1-1. That'll miss for ball 2. Two and 1 count to Will Bass, the second baseman from Wayland Baptist. The 2-1. Outside ball 3. Berlin struggling a little bit right now on the hill. 3-1 count to Bass. The 3-1. And that'll miss inside ball 4. So Bass will draw the walk. That'll put runners at the corners, first and third. Nobody down for Mason Mallard.
Now batting left fielder number 5, Mason Mallard.
Mallard also having a rare off day for him. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a flyout, and a ground out. First pitch to him. Fouls that one back. Mallard came into today's game hitting .233. Has 3 doubles, 1 home run, and 5 RBIs so far this summer. Here's the 0-1. Inside ball 1. And we see someone getting up and starting to get loose in the Miners bullpen. The 1-1. That one's lined out towards center field. Stoller will reel that one in for the out. But Populus easily able to tag up and score from third. Makes it a 4-3 game. Miners still on top of the Chinooks by 1.
Hunter Vansaw.
Hunter Vansaw comes up to the plate, just one down. Top of the eighth, Chinooks trail 4-3. And they'll check on Bass over at first. He'll be back in time. Will has himself a couple of steals, has been caught one time. First one to Vansaw. In there, called strike one. Vansaw 1 for 3 on the day, had a single in the first, reached on an error in the fourth, and struck out in the sixth. The 0-1. Big swing and a miss there from Hunter. He'll fall behind 0-2. Now the 0-2. Waste pitch that time. Also looked to see if Bass was on the move. He was not. That'll make it a 1-2 count to Vansaw. Here's the 1-2. Breaking pitch that Vansaw will take out of play. Now Cosgrove going to go have a mound with Berlin, a talk with Berlin on the mound. Berlin actually was a bit of a late bloomer. He didn't start pitching until he was a sophomore in high school. Here's the 1-2. That'll miss down low for ball two. Tried to get Bass to move, but wasn't able to relay the message quickly enough that Cosgrove didn't know where the ball was. It's a 2-2 count to Hunter Vansaw, the Chinook right fielder. Here's the 2-2. Vansaw foul that one back out of play once again. Now they'll check on Bass over at first. He'll be back in time. We'll check on him again. Didn't even have to dive back that time. Still able to get back safely. Vansaw leading the Chinooks in average this summer. He'll foul that one off once again. Vansaw hitting .351. And this isn't exactly abnormal for him because he hit .378 this past season at Northeast Texas Community College. They check on Bass. He'll be back in time. Closer play that time. The 2-2. Gonna miss outside, ball three. That'll make it a full count, 3-2. Here's a 3-2. And he'll hold up, and that'll be ball four. So a couple walks from Berlin put on Bass and Vansaw. So now Chinooks have runners at first and second for Tim Millard. And now pitching coach for the Miners, Matt Greeley, going to go out and talk with Berland. There's a couple guys up in the Miners bullpen, none of them throwing right now. Looks like they're about to start throwing.
Is to emphasize the importance of building fun, safe, and trusting relationships with parents and their kids, while also developing teamwork.
So we thank you for making us a part of your day. Chinooks trail by a score of 4-3, but they have runners on first and second for cleanup man Tim Ballard.
Pleasant and stress-free as possible for both patients and parents. You can make an appointment online at Chinooks.com or call 745-KIDS at 745-5437.
And now the meeting on the mound over and done with. One of the lefties out there throwing in the Miners bullpen. Looks to me like it's Jordan Floyd, the junior from Kansas State, but I'm only 90% sure. Can't entirely see his number, but that looks like him. Tim Millard now up to the plate, runners at first and second. Just one down top of the eighth. First pitch to him, they'll actually, Berland will turn and look back, Bass over at second. Millard 0 for 3 today, grounded into a double play and struck out. First pitch to Millard. And on the ground towards third, that'll go back foul towards the Chinook dugout. Millard hitting .302 on the summer. With 133 home runs and 8 RBIs. The 0-1. Big hack and a miss. He'll fall behind 0-2. Oh, 0-2 count to Tim Millard, the redshirt sophomore from Dallas Baptist. The 0-2. Big swing and a miss. Millard will go down on strikes. That's a big out for Berland. That's out number 2 here in the top of the eighth.
Now batting, first baseman number 25, Ethan Whisker.
Ethan Whisker now to the plate with 2 down. Top of the eighth inning, Chinooks trail 4-3, but have runners on first and second. First pitch to Whisker in there on the outside part of the plate. Called strike 1. Whisker had a solo home run back in the 5th. Now the 0-1. In there, called strike 2, right at the bottom of the knees. It's just like Millard. Whisker falls behind 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Whisker gets a piece of that one to stay alive at 0-2. Oh, 0-2 count to Ethan Whisker, the Chinook first baseman. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Whisker will go down on strikes. That'll do it here for the top of the eighth. But Greg Populison continues his good day at the plate. He goes 3 for 3. He is brought in by Mason Mallard on a sac fly. It's a 4-3 ball game in favor of the Miners as we head into the bottom of the 8th. And back we are here to start off the bottom of the 8th inning between your Chugach Eagle River Chinooks and the Matsu Miners. There'll be 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the Miners. Jake Scudder, Garrison Swartz, Josh Roulette. First one to Jake Scudder, misses outside, ball 1. Rob Winslow still on the hill for your Chinooks. He came in back in the 6th inning. The one who's in there called strike 1. Scudder 1 for 2 today, had an RBI single in the 5th. The 1-1 is lined down towards first. Nice stop there by Whisker. He'll step on first himself for out number 1.
Now batting your right fielder, number 18, Garrison Schwartz.
Garrison Swartz now up to the plate with 1 down here in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch to Schwartz. Just outside, ball 1. Schwartz 0 for 3 on the day with a ground out and 2 flyouts. The 1-0. Down the ground towards second. Will Bass will field it. Gets that over to Ethan Whisker first in time, out number 2.
Now batting your DH, number 25, Josh Roulette.
Josh Roulette coming up with 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. Myers on top of your Chinooks 4-3. First one to Roulette. That one scorched out to right field, but right to the glove of Hunter Vansa. He'll reel that one in for out number 3. And that's only a 6-pitch inning from Robert Winslow. And that'll end the bottom of the 8th. Chinooks going into the top of the 9th. Got to find a way to keep this one going. They trail by a score of 4-3.
Coming out today,
And welcome back on out here to Herman Brothers Field. We're starting off the top of the ninth between the Chinooks and the Miners. First pitch to Aaron Shackelford will come in and hit him in the back. That one had to hurt. And might have nicked him in the elbow. And if that's the case, he got hit in the elbow yesterday as well. So that cannot feel very good for Shackelford. Now we will have a pinch hitter for the Chinooks. It'll be Alex Masato pinch hitting for Colin Borst.
Pinch hitting for the Chinooks. Out of Pattern Junior College, number 17, Alex Masato.
So Masato up to the plate. He's hitting 125 in his limited at-bats this summer. He squares around a bunt, lays that one down. Floyd will field it, goes over to first for the out. Sacrifice bunt does exactly what he has to do from Masato. Masato put Shackelford on second with a one down. So one down, top of the ninth, Ben Hill coming up. This one to Hill. Hits that one on the ground toward Floyd. Has enough time to look back Shackelford and go over to first for out number two. So now there's two down for the most hot hitter right now for the Chinooks, Greg Poppy. Listen, probably wouldn't have said that coming into today's game, but he's 3 for 3 today. Comes up in a big a spot as any to try and keep his perfect day going. First one to Greg. Swing and a miss for strike one. Like I said earlier, Poppy, listen, perfect 3 for 3 today with 3 singles. And has the tying run in scoring position, Aaron Shackelford. Poppy starting to hit more like he did at New Mexico State, where he hit 319. He'll swing and miss at that one. He'll fall behind 0-2. This Poppy tries to keep this game going. He's down 0-2. Trying to do something no one has been able to do against Jordan Floyd, and that's make him give up a run, any run, earned or unearned. He has a 0 ERA. This is his 7th appearance. The 0-2. Pops that one out towards right field. Garrison Schwartz coming in, but that will do it for this one. Chinooks just do not have enough. They will fall here to the Matsu Miners by a score of 4-3.
And that's your ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again for coming out today on Fred Meyer Day at the Park. Reminder, next Monday, July 4th, come on out.
And as far as this game goes, I know he just flew out to end the game, but Greg Populus has to be our player of the game for today. Went 3 of 4 today with 3 singles, also swiped a bag. And as bad an average as he had coming in today, he'll boost that one up. So Greg Populus will be our player of the game for today's game. And once again, Chinooks fall by a score of 4-3 to the Miners. We'll be right back here in a little bit with my interview with Greg here on the Chinook Radio Network. Thank you for sticking around, Chinook fans, here with our player of the game, Greg Populus. And Greg, 3 for 4 today. We talked even before the game in our we'll call it our bathroom talk we had this morning or afternoon about your potential slump. I said you broke out of it with the triple. Well, you definitely broke out of it today. Went 3 for 4 at the plate. How'd it feel?
It felt really good to get back on my feet out there on the field. It had been a long slump. It was long and hard for me. So, it's just let me pull through it.
And you pulled through it, 3 for 4, 3 singles. I'm pretty sure every single time it was right up the middle. So how come every single one went right back up the middle?
Well, I got lucky on the first one. He beat me a little on the inside half, and I was able to squeak it up the middle. But the next two I kind of dialed in, and I was able just to work with where he put the pitch. And the second line drive that I got, he hung a pitch, and I was able to stay on it for as long as I did and keep it back up the middle.
And I think the better part about, aside from the fact you went 3 for 4, is that all of your hits were against 3 different pitchers. So you're able to do the same thing against 3 different guys at the plate. So how does that feel?
I didn't even realize it was 3 different pitchers.
It happens.
I kind of go up there and I just try to see the ball, get my foot down, be aggressive on pitches I know I can hit, and that's what worked out for me today. So.
And another thing I noticed back in New Mexico State, you were prolific on the base paths, to say the least. You were able to get another steal out there today. So how did it feel to swipe another bag?
It felt good. It had been a while. And first time I got on, Willie fouled one off. And I went back and I figured, I'd sit around and wait and see if he's going to drive another one because he was down the count. And I figured they would work a pitch out, but they didn't. And so once I got on again, I just knew I was going to go. And I'm pretty sure they knew I was going to go, but I was able to beat there. So
I think they definitely knew you were going to go. I think it was another pitch out. But nonetheless, Greg Populus, our player of the game. And Greg, I'm saying this publicly, you're not in the bottom 3 anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for talking to me, Greg. And that's all we have here on the Shinooks Radio Network. We'll be back on the road in Anchorage tomorrow against the Bucks before we take our long road trip up to Kenai to face the Peninsula Oilers.